Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are still here at the 2025 edition of the Texas State Fair. A lot of work going on in the background to get the show ready for the big opening day tomorrow. But of course, I'm at the Chevy booth, and no better place to be than next to a bright red Corvette, just like Prince used to sing in his song. So what we have is this 2026 Chevrolet Corvette, this being a C8 Stingray. But before we dive into this Corvette and talk about something a little different, I kind of have something I need to get off my chest. So obviously, being a car enthusiast ever since I was a kid, Corvette has always been special to me. My dad always used to have a fond feeling of Corvettes, and even myself, I just love the different generations. Now, of course, back when I was a kid, it was only the fourth generation of the Corvette, really, when I started being able to focus on cars. When I was born, it was the 1976 Corvette Stingray, which there really wasn't a lot of horsepower or performance to talk about. Now today, performance seems to be everywhere. We could talk about performance with SUVs. We could talk about performance with EVs. And of course, we could still talk about performance with the Corvette. The Corvette's always been that attainable dream sports car for so many people here in the United States and around the world when you compare it to the other competition vehicles, cars that come from Ferrari, Lamborghini, so on and so forth. Now, one thing that I always loved about Corvette is that you could get a manual transmission. The challenge with the C8 Corvette, as great as it is that there is no manual transmission available. Now, there's been a lot of talk and focus with the ZR1 and the upcoming ZR1X. What I think Chevrolet should do is not so much keep moving the performance, because now we're at 0 to 60 of what? 2 seconds, top speed, 233 miles an hour with cars like the ZR1. What about those who, like myself, who maybe have done all that with 0 to 60 and top speed, and now we're kind of over it, but we want a really pure driving experience? And how would you do that? By bringing back the manual transmission. So now, with the Stingray, you got a great look, no doubt about it. When they launched the C8 Corvette in 2020, the year of the pandemic, they had a home run on their hands, especially at the price point. Remember, you could get one of those original ones for under 60 grand, supposedly on paper. Now, with the style, a lot of people now associate the Corvette more as a supercar because you have that mid-engine setup. And what I love about the C8, my favorite part is the front, because it has that stealth fighter jet appearance. The one thing that's kind of held me back from the C8, even though I love the Z06, love the ZR1, is, of course, a manual transmission. Now, they made the all-wheel drive Corvette people happy by bringing an E-Ray, the electric motor powering the front wheels, and we actually have an E-Ray right here, which you should have seen this review. This is a 2026 E-Ray in Roswell Green. So they made the all-wheel drive people happy. So I think it's now time for Chevrolet to make the manual transmission people happy. And here's how they can do it. Stingray, E-Ray, ZR1, ZR1X. What's missing? Why not make a Grand Sport? Make the Grand Sport be a manual transmission only C8. It's an interesting idea. Now, I've thought about this a little bit. Obviously, I thought about it actually a lot, so I kind of lied. I've been thinking about this a lot. How could they do it and make it really attainable for people? Don't make a manual transmission Z06. Even though the Z06 is great, I'm fine if it doesn't have a manual transmission. I think they should base the Grand Sport off of the Stingray. Hear me out. The wire body already comes on a Z06. And if you want to see a Z06, we actually have a Z06 right over here, ZR1 and a Z06. They brought it all to the auto show here at the Texas State Fair. So whether you go E-Ray, ZR1, or Z06, they all have the wider bodywork. The only model that doesn't have the wider bodywork up front and out back is the Stingray. So why not make a Grand Sport with the same dimensions as a Stingray, make it stand out in that way, and maybe even do it to where you don't even offer a convertible. Maybe you just offer manual coupes. I'm just trying to think of a way where Chevrolet could do this and not make it break the piggy bank for them, because let's be honest, more people are always going to want the automatics. You don't see usually more people buying manuals. Now that has sometimes happened throughout automotive history, but not always. Now, with the Stingray body, yeah, it's not as wide as a Z06, but it still looks fantastic. It's got all of the great aesthetics that people have wanted. And of course, they've done a better job, I think, with wheel design. You look at the wheels of a Stingray. From 2020, I really didn't like the wheels. They were kind of bland, but they really have made the wheels so much nicer, especially on this 2026 model with the split spoke design, forged wheel. Remember, you got 19-inch up front, 20-inch out back, and this one's got the Z51 performance package, which gives you the bigger brakes. So that brings us to another fun point. Why not make the Grand Sport come with all the Z51 goodies automatically? No 8-speed dual clutch transmission, just a manual. They did it on the C7. That really wasn't that long ago. But let's continue talking about this. Now, with a manual, I think where it's going to really work well with the Corvette is because they changed the interior for 2026. So we're going to eventually get inside this Stingray and show it off, that interior, and how I think a manual will work. Now, originally when they launched the C8, I did ask GM engineers, and they said that it had something to do with the structural integrity of the frame if they cut a hole for the shifter and the linkage and all that. I think that was all a bunch of nonsense. Now, the E-Ray does make use of that space in between the driver and the passenger in the center console because it's got a battery. How about if there's no battery, we put the shifter there? Now, if you want to have convertible, that's fine. Underneath this convertible Stingray, of course, we got the 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8. It's the LT2. I personally love that engine. It's got the familiar V8 rumble that you associate with a Corvette, right? I mean, yes, the first 2 years of the Corvette, straight six. It was called the Blue Flame 6, 53 and 54, and no manual transmission. I get it. But eventually, in 55, they had the V8, and that pushrod V8 stuck around all the way up to 2019. And it continues now on the C8. So why not make more use of the LT2? It'll have 495 horsepower because it'll already have all the Z51 goodies, but give it a manual transmission. Give it all the other parts. The little hash marks on the fenders, maybe some special stripes and everything. And yes, I know you're probably saying right now, well, Joe, didn't the Grand Sport get the Z06 body and that's what made it special? You're right, but like I said, they used the Z06 body on all the models except for the Stingray. So why not give it the Stingray body? And what they're catering to is giving us the manual transmission. Now, another thing that they improved on the Stingray, which could be carried over onto a Grand Sport, is the pedestal style wing. Looks way better. The original Z51 had this not very attractive dual basket handle rear wing. I didn't like it at all. I actually preferred a non-Z51 when they first came out. This new wing looks much better. Another thing that I love about the Stingray is having that quad tip split exhaust. Think about it. The only other C8 to have the split side exhaust, two on one side, two the other, is the E-Ray. ZR1, ZR1X, and Z06 all have the quad tips in the middle here. And if GM wanted to, they could even give the Grand Sport a tad more horsepower, maybe 515 horsepower. Why not? With the GM Active Performance exhaust? Let me know if you're agreeing to what I have to say, but we're gonna go inside. I wanna show you the updated interior, but I also wanna show you how this manual transmission thing. All right guys, we're in this bright red, torch red C8 Corvette. Nothing like a red Corvette, there just isn't. Now, it's interesting because a lot of car enthusiasts, they care about acceleration, and I care about acceleration too, but it's just getting to a point where things are just out of control. So why not make the Corvette people happy by bringing back a Grand Sport, but make the manual transmission people happy by bringing that back as well. Now, what's interesting about being in a 2026, one of the other things to talk about besides the changed interior layout is actually the colors. For the first time, you can actually do different colors for the passenger and driver. So you'll notice on the driver's seat, the bright red with the black. This passenger seat is all black, even the bolstering and everything else. The other thing is when it comes to door panels. To the door panels, we got to do it, right? You're going to have all black with the red stitching. Now, if you focus on the door panel over here on the driver's side, it's quite different. It's actually two-tone with the red leather on the interior and the rest of it being black. Even on top of the dash, you're getting a two-tone experience. So definitely let me know in the comment section if you like that option on doing the two-tone. But the other big thing, of course, for 2026 is this area right here. You got your all-new infotainment system, totally redone, but then this area has a dead spot in it. This is just for decoration. There's nothing functional with this piece. So why not take this out and put the manual, maybe eliminate a cup holder. I'll sacrifice a cup holder, put the manual transmission right here. Perfect placement. I mean, I'm sitting here, perfect placement. You can even put your elbow on the armrest if you want. Perfect placement for a manual transmission. You got the all new crap handle for your passenger. Maybe even move it over a little bit because we would eliminate the push button controls for the Tremec 8-speed dual clutch. And you can still keep your mode selector button, the new mode selector button. But having that manual right here would be perfect. And you know that they can do it and still get good fuel economy because they had a 7-speed on essentially the same engine. I mean, the LT2 obviously a little bit more horsepower, but it's still a pushrod V8, naturally aspirated V8. You get the rumble, you get that experience, but you have the engagement of a manual transmission. I think they should do it on top of everything else I said, plus there's no Camaro. So you could have got a Camaro SS, a ZL1, ZL1 LE. You could get all those with manual transmissions. Camaro doesn't exist anymore, so why not have it for a Corvette Grand Sport, a C8 Corvette Grand Sport? But why don't we go ahead, I'm not done pushing this subject, come on over to the business end. I want to show you behind the wheel of this updated C8. All right guys, business time behind the wheel of this C8. Now, to give you a closer look on the door panel here, you can see that two-tone with the black and the red, and then the sill plate. Think about it. You could see it say Grand Sport. You could even, instead of putting the Corvette badge, how about put a top view of the 63 Corvette Grand Sport race car? And then pedal box. Really, all they would need to do is reshape the dead pedal and put the clutch in there. You still have your dead pedal, put the clutch in there, and then you could do your heel-toe downshifting. So simple. It's like all it's gonna take is just a few little minor changes here and there. Now, you still have the great seats, and these are the GT2 seats. These are the competition seats with the extra bolstering. Lock and loaded, I mean, think about it. I feel it, I see it. And then of course the steering wheel. the great leather, the red top dead center. And then of course, what would probably happen is they would still have paddles, and it would be like on the previous Camaros and Corvettes where you could turn on and off that auto downshift feature. Wouldn't that be nice? And then of course, you have that area. Like I said, look, right here, it almost, I feel like they're gonna go that direction. They got it, right? I mean, they brought back the manual transmission to the Z Nismo. Why not put it right here and have that perfect placement? And hell, you're gonna be able to charge more than a standard Stingray, and I think that there's people like myself that would be willing to do it, to have that engagement of a manual transmission, to be able to row through your own gears and have 495 horsepower behind you. It may not sound like a lot of horsepower with a almost 11 horsepower ZR1 over there, but it's all about the driving engagement. I want you to chew on that like an old piece of beef jerky. And while you're doing that, we're gonna wrap it up here from the Texas State Fair. All right, guys. It's been a great time being here at the Texas State Fair, and it's been great to do something a little different. To have a great car like this C8 Corvette in front of us, but talk about a topic that I know is on a lot of your minds, and I know that you're yearning for a manual transmission for the Corvette like many other people, and I know there's a lot of Corvette people out there that want the Grand Sport name to come back. So let me know in the comment section. This is your turn. Chevrolet is gonna read through the comments. Let them know, yay or nay, are you game for a manual transmission Grand Sport? Put that down there in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. Gotta give it up to Latte Lori. I know where her voting's going. It's going in the column for manual transmission because she loves rowing through a 6-speed, 7-speed, whatever. She does it all. So thank you, Lori, for being so amazing. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.